The movie begins at the hospital. The dad of our main character, Hal, is dying. When Hal walked into the room, his dad began to give him his last advice, which was never to settle for an average girl. And I quote, "To get someone with a great can and toddies." Hot, young tales, what's all about. In no time, Hal watched his dad die right in front of his eyes. Hit that intro. We skip to Hal being all grown up at the club with his friend, Mauricio. They both know what they're looking for, a woman that you cannot stop looking at, both her body and face. After several tries, it seems that they are both failing, but for them, it's going pretty well. During their talk, we find out that Hal's going out with someone they refer to as the woman, which is actually his neighbor. But he's still trying to get with another one.
What? That's it? Just like that? We're breaking up?
Well, we were never going out. We just had one date.
Never mind, I see why. The next day, Hal and Tony Robbins are stuck on the elevator for a while. They kill time by talking about Hal's problems with girls. Tony finds out that Hal's pretty picky when it comes to girls, so he decides to help him by putting a curse on him.
Devils, come out!
From now on, Hal will only be able to see someone by their true beauty, meaning if someone has a great personality, they are going to be good looking, the opposite for the people with bad attitudes. When Hal got out of the elevator, he encounters a beautiful woman while he's trying to get a taxi, and to his surprise, she offers him to take the taxi with her. During the ride, Hal is mesmerized by her beauty, but she doesn't seem to understand why. Instead, she kind of feels offended because she believes that he is judging her. After some time, they start conversating. Hal finds out that she's actually new in town. When they got out of the taxi, Hal offered her to show her around if she ever needed it, so he gives her his number. As soon as he gets back home, he calls Mauricio to go to the club. While Mauricio was busy talking with someone, Hal was dancing with 3 goddesses. Mauricio then looked down, and to him, he saw Hal dancing with the ugliest girls at the club. He tried to save Hal, but he didn't understand what was happening. Things got even worse when Hal's neighbor, the girl he was talking to before, saw what was happening. She felt offended. She couldn't believe why Hal preferred those girls over her. The next morning comes, and while Hal is on the road, he spots the most beautiful woman walking. As an animal trying to hunt down his prey, he stops and follows her. He found her in the clothing section of the mall. Hal saw her as a very skinny woman, but in reality, she was kinda overweight. While she was looking at underwear for her size, Hal makes the remark,
Building the parachute?
Of course the woman was gonna take it as an offense, so she just tried to ignore him. But it didn't work because Hal refused to let her go. She realized that he was making things worse, but he didn't want to lose a woman like her, so he apologized. It appears that she accepted his apology, since the next scene they are having a meal together. When ordering, Hal was impressed because she didn't have your regular, "Water please." She had the entire menu. Suddenly, her chair breaks, making everyone at the restaurant look at her. On their way out, 2 men make a remark about her weight, making Hal get very angry. However, Hal believed that they were talking about him and not her, so he goes to confront them. On the way home, Hal still wants to go out with her, so he asks her for her number. Once again, the girl's confused why Hal wanted her number. While getting her last name, Hal also finds out that her dad is his boss. So, if he messes up, his life is fucked. The next day at the park, Hal tells Mauricio that he invited the girl from yesterday, Rosemary. Once again, Mauricio is shocked by Hal's pick on women. Hal and Rosemary continue their day by having a cute little date at the park. When they don't know what to do anymore, Rosemary offers to show her her friends. They arrive at the hospital where Rosemary works. Here, Hal meets a lot of children. He was having a great time by making the kids laugh until an old woman came into the room angry because it wasn't visiting hours. When Hal got back home, his neighbor sees him again with another woman, which makes her feel some type of way. When she leaves, Rosemary tells Hal she doesn't like it when she calls her pretty or skinny. Hal cannot seem to understand. Why would a beautiful woman hate to be called pretty or skinny? The next morning, Rosemary comes to his apartment to apologize for her attitude she gave him. Before leaving, they give each other a cute little kiss, indicating that they are officially dating. We see them having some fun together, but everything looks weird as we can see it from Hal's perspective. Even a kid ended up in the tree when she jumped into the pool.
Huh?
It is finally time for Hal to meet Rosemary's parents. Everything seems to go well between Hal and Mr. Shanahan until he asks Hal to drop the act on Rosemary. He tells Hal to face reality because his daughter, Rosemary, is ugly. Hal once again never understands, so he defends Rosemary as his life depends on it. Later, Hal and Rosemary go back to Hal's house, where they did, we could just call it the delicioso. Hal's neighbor sees Rosemary go out of Hal's apartment once again. She offers him to have some fun, but without hesitation, Hal rejects her. At the company, it seems like everything is going well for Hal. He's getting compliments and praises on his job. Rosemary's dad calls him to his office. He tells Hal that he's glad that a man with good values will be part of his family. He is so happy that he even gave Hal a promotion. In the next scene, people keep telling Hal to stop fooling around with Rosemary. They believe that Hal is only going out with her to improve his position at the company. They cannot believe that he has genuine interest in her because of the type of woman he has gone out with before. Rosemary and Hal decided to have some fun and go out together, but Hal invited a friend and his girlfriend. Luckily, Rosemary already knows the guy, so it wasn't that awkward, until his girlfriend arrived. She was actually the doctor from earlier, the one that got mad at Hal for visiting the children. However, when Hal leaves, she looks so beautiful and young, meaning she has a bad personality. When they finally reach their destination, they start having fun. Everything is going amazing until Rosemary encounters her ex, Ralph, and his friend. Hal gets intimidated as they're both handsome and young. Mauricio finds out what happened with Hal, so he tries to talk with Tony Robbins. He asks him for a remedy. Tony doesn't give in at first, but Mauricio manages to convince him. During this time, Hal and Rosemary are having a date at a very fancy restaurant. Rosemary starts it off by telling Hal that Ralph was asking for her help. Hal felt weird. He didn't want his girlfriend to be spending time with her ex, especially when they are good looking. However, Rosemary assured him that he is way better than Ralph, not only in looks but humor-wise as well. Before anything else can happen, Rosemary breaks the chair once again. When Hal was talking to the lady at the front, Mauricio calls him and tells him the phrase that breaks the curse.
Shallow Hal wants a gal.
Hal is extremely confused about what Mauricio is saying. Hal looks back to the lady he was talking to, but she's different now. Hal is confused. He asked for the lady that he was talking to, but she affirmed him that there was only one hostess in the restaurant. Hal tried to ignore it by going back to his table, but he encountered a stranger at his table. He was only able to see her back, but he knew that wasn't Rosemary because of the weight difference. He tries to ask the host what happened, but the only thing that he received was concern from her. Hal tries to confront the lady at the table until Mauricio stopped him. Mauricio tried to explain what happened, but Hal stayed confused for a while. Everything became clear when Hal encountered a woman. She tells him that she is the same woman that took the taxi with him. She is much more different than what Hal remembered. Hal was having too much of a shock, so he went back to his house with Mauricio. Hal hated Mauricio. He had the most gorgeous girl, but now he doesn't find her attractive. During their talk, Rosemary starts knocking on the door. Mauricio assures him that he will not want to see the real her. They come up with a lie that Hal's eyes got messed up. To prove it to Rosemary and to make Hal's vision blurry, Mauricio puts Vaseline on Hal's eyes. When Hal faced Rosemary, all he could see was her figure, not her face. Back at the company, Rosemary's dad tries to ask Hal what's going on because Rosemary keeps complaining about their lack of communication. Hal tried his best to man up and just meet Rosemary, but he fails terribly. He keeps running away from her. The more time passes, the more guilty he feels. Hal's neighbor asks him to go out once again, and he finally accepts, but only as friends. She reveals that she broke up with him because she believed he was shallow, but her vision changed when she saw the woman Hal was going out with. During their talk, Rosemary's family enters the same restaurant, and while Rosemary was going to the bathroom, she saw them together holding hands. Hal continues to reject his neighbor, so he goes to the phone to call Rosemary, but he didn't know that the woman he just passed by and said hi to was Rosemary. Back at the company, Rosemary's dad tells him to back off because he's aware of the cheating. He also tells Hal that Rosemary and Ralph are back together. Hal tries to amend things and goes to the hospital where Rosemary works, but he was told that she left earlier. Hal didn't know where to go, until a little girl says his name. He turned around and saw a little girl with a burn on her face. He didn't realize who it was, until she said she was a girl from a couple days ago. Hal felt so much guilt from seeing her that the only thing that he could think of was giving her a hug. He meets up with Mauricio. Mauricio reveals his secret to him. The reason why he's scared of women is because he has a dog tail on his lower back. It's not really a tail, but his backbone is longer than it should be, so it looks like a tail. When he gets excited or nervous, it even moves. This has embarrassed him for his whole life. It is not very simple to get rid of because it's wrapped around an artery, so every doctor refuses to cut it off as it could potentially kill him. At the end of their talk, Hal asks for a lift to where Rosemary's ex is at. Outside the place, Hal finds Ralph's friend. He's like a different person. The same goes for Ralph. Hal tells him how blessed he is to be with a girl like Rosemary, but he's confused as they are not dating. Hal finds out that Rosemary is actually going away, so he rushes to her house. He goes in, and since he doesn't know what Rosemary looks like, he just kissed the first woman that has a similar body to her. Rosemary's mom finds him and the maid kissing. She was quite shocked. She tried to help him out by leading him to her. Hal does a scene. He tells Rosemary how much he loves her. He apologizes and apologizes, but Rosemary tells him that it's too late because she's leaving for over a year. Hal cannot accept it, so he tells her that he is going with her for the entire time. She finally gives in and they have a very romantic kiss. Even Rosemary's dad is happy. Hal tries to make it cute by carrying her, but he isn't strong enough, so the roles are turned. Rosemary is now carrying Hal. They both leave in Mauricio's car to have their happy ending. Mauricio also shoots his shot at a dog lover. He was so excited that his tail started wiggling. And that's it. This movie's a bit controversial nowadays, but please let me know in the comments what you think. And remember to hit that like and subscribe button so the gods of the algorithm can help us out. Peace.